Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Sunday, July 2nd, 2017. In both the Lynn Life and the Jamie Body Mind, the authorized souls remain only child souls from the deeper, denser dimensions and nature realm's guardians. There is a well-known poem entitled The Serenity Prayer that talks about the courage to change the things we can change, the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, and the wisdom to know the difference. And in these days of body-snatchers, it would be wise to remember that the host lives, the body forms, don't really get a say as to whether or not souls come in. If a big soul wants to come in and steal a life, the big soul does steal the life. However, host lives can still hold to the standards that they intend to live to, and to insist that the souls either live to those standards or also move on. And as long as the standards are higher than the standards to which the body-snatcher is living, even wiser, even higher minds above the divine law will uphold the request of the host life.
That's true.
If we are sinking to lower standards, then the host life doesn't stand a chance. The host life is wrong by divine law, and all the bad things. What they like to say to us is, you'll deserve all the bad things, meaning that the karma does get pinned on the host lives, and that the host life deserves it.
That's true.
So it's important to live to the highest standards, which are always, in these inconvenient times, scary and inconvenient.
That's true.
As always, our foundational intention is to do what is ours to do right now in all dimensions, to manifest the divine plan for all dimensions, since that's what our soul contracts commit us to doing. Given the reality of these limited resources and the prevalence of lying, cheating, stealing, and bullying in all dimensions of which we have awareness, one of the current topics on our table is, given the reality of these limited resources, what now, in order to stop the use of lying, cheating, stealing, and bullying in all dimensions? And with that, the formally videoed portions of today's efforts begin. Drawing up the upward flow at the back. Yes, we have to, because there is no automatically upward rising earth energy anymore. And why is that? Someone's asking. The divine sanitation and delivery system seems to have broken down, and why is that? It seems to have broken down from lack of maintenance, and as a result, because we weren't willing to keep it going with our own effort, now we are each responsible. Somebody's shouting, hurling abuse. We're each responsible for maintaining sacred space for ourselves. We have the right to live our lives in sacred space, but it is indeed up to us to create it. We can do it. We can control our choices. It's the only thing we actually have control over. And we can choose to use all events of life as motivation to do what is ours to do, what our soul plan says to do, moment by moment by moment by moment. There's always something that we're supposed to do right now in every moment, and we can choose to do that, or we can choose to make excuses. That's the fundamental choice in every moment. Do what we're supposed to do, or do anything else. We can choose to do what we're supposed to do, regardless. And in this way, we can continue to create sacred space for ourselves, and divine law is on our side. And as we reach higher, 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 stretching higher, higher, as the dimensions continue to collapse around us, and we don't say, oh, well, I can't do anything, I'll just stop my efforts, and when this collapse is over, then I'll start again. That isn't likely to work.
No, that's true.
We'll just get crushed along with everything else. Not that that's so bad. Being crushed along with everything else isn't terrible. But if we have come to help then not setting an example of what else we can do is to not do our jobs.
That's true.
What now? In order to stop the use of lying, cheating, stealing, and bullying in all dimensions, given the reality of these limited resources. And again, it's crystal clear we cannot have influence in larger levels or in the level in which we're experiencing sentience.
That's
but
true.
we can make profound changes for smaller levels. And to remember that, and and somebody's talking about dodging responsibility, and that when we dodge responsibility, we're shirking our duties, we're compressing. When we refuse to accept responsibility, we're karma dumping into ourselves. And ourselves are having this responsibility dumped onto them for our bad choices when essentially they are along for the ride.
That's true.
And not surprisingly, the imbalance of bad karma coming into their sentient experience creates illness for them, and then we have sick cells, and we deserve those sick cells. But did the cells deserve to be sick? It's a good question. It's an interesting question.
It's very quiet.
I personally don't think the cells deserve to be sick.
That's true.
Maybe I deserve to be sick.
That's
If
true.
I'm dodging responsibility, I do deserve to be sick, if that's
true.
what it takes to get my attention. Right now, let's squeeze up and correct all the errors we've made just this morning so far, with the intention to burn all our mistakes, squeezing them up from the cells, up and out of our cells, and up and out of our molecules, and up and out of our atoms and electrons and smaller subatomic particles, and just burn those errors, transmute them, correct them, take corrective action. Well, I hear you saying take corrective action, and I agree that we need to take corrective action. Typically, in order to take corrective action, we need to understand what the error is so that we can correct it, and that's where we could use a little bit of help.
That's true.
Thank you for the quality instruction. Can you help us find the errors, please, so that we can correct them?
I don't hear them.
No, I don't hear anything at all. They seem to have wandered away.
It feels much more open above the head.
We have an opening. Let's use the opening right now without anybody working in the deeper, denser dimensions consistently with pan laid up.
That's true.
We need to be the change for the deeper, denser dimensions. We can run cables. That we can do. From way down deep in that ice pick point, that ice pick seems to kind of be closing up again, and I know that's not good.
That's true.
We can run cables from as deep down in the ice pick as we're able to connect to as high up above us as we're able to connect to, and to evacuate dead children from the deeper, denser dimensions out of there. And we can call to the dead electron children who move reasonably well of their own accord to say, this way, this way, this way, through us, not to us, this way to the light. When we live in times full of inconvenient realities such as these times, it's crucial to keep moving, doing what it is that is ours to do, and not using the inconvenient realities as excuses to not do what is ours to do. Friends, many of you know you have come to help. You feel it inside of you. And then the question becomes, what is it exactly that I can do to help when the world around me, the society around me, seems to have gone fully insane?
That's true.
What now? What now? Everybody is selfish, and they're holding up selfishness as an ideal. And they literally are saying there's such a thing as excessive compassion. Really? I don't think that's possible.
No,
Somebody
it's
is
true.
saying, some voice is saying, they're shocked to hear this. That's what that person is saying. They're saying, really, I don't think that's possible. That is Look it up. Google it. Look it up. It is an inconvenient reality that even well-intentioned voices from above are unable to see clearly what's happening in our own dimensions because of the clouds.
That's true.
But we can still do what is ours to do. We can still live with integrity. If we aren't living with integrity, then we are making it worse. And it's a good test is to consider, how would this turn out if everybody is behaving as I am considering behaving? And if the answer is it would not turn out well, then that isn't actually what we're supposed to be doing, and we need to find another way to solve that particular dilemma in our lives, and that we can do it.
That's true.
We've got to stop extending human life. That's a faulty goal. Some people hold that up as an ideal, but we have 7.5 billion people trying to live off the resources of this tiny little planet, not to mention all the other sentiences of all the other species.
That's true.
It's a faulty goal to extend life. We really need to let go of all of that. Any medications or procedures that extend life are actually contributing to the problem. We need to let them go. We need to stop it. No more pacemakers. Pull out all the pacemakers. No more dialysis. Stop it. Stop all these extreme measures. There are truly extreme measures that are being employed to extend life. Stop transplants. Stop it. Those bodies are saying it's time to move on. Those souls are being given the boost, and we're fighting the boost.
That's true.
We should just say, oh dear, goodbye. On to the next dimension. No more extension of life. And friends, we have to stop having babies. No more human babies. No more babies. It's enough. It's time to say, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to participate in that. No babies. No babies and no extension of life. Truly. There will still be selfish people who continue to breed.
That's true.
There will be. But don't listen to them. Think how it is when smoking began to be recognized as the true hazard to health that it actually is. At first, smoking was cool, and then it gradually became less cool.
That's
until
true.
Now, low-class people smoke. They do.
Yeah,
But they're low-class, and I don't think anybody's confused about it.
that's true.
And low-class people will continue to have children also. But that is not what the situation calls for. What now, given the reality of these limited resources? What now in order to stop the use of lying, cheating, stealing, and bullying in all dimensions? And friends, we're not confused. We know that there's going to be many people who find this distinctly unpopular, and they're going to argue hotly and say horrifying and ugly things to us and about us, and it happens every single time we channel an inconvenient reality from wiser minds above.
That's true.
But that doesn't take away the assignment to channel the inconvenient realities from wiser minds above. So we wish you good day. And we return our focus to the multidimensional efforts. And with that, the formally videoed portions of today's efforts end.